I want to thank everyone who's taking the time to join us here today. I'll be reading from my novel, Fruit of the Devil, a cli-fi eco-thriller, which exposes the poisonous underbelly of pesticide-intensive strawberry industry. Cli-fi refers to the book's climate change theme. You can find out more about me and my book at maryflodin.com or fruitofthedevil.net. And my book's available at Bookshop, of course, and at Kelly's in Watsonville and the libraries and online through Paper Angel Press and other places. As an anecdote to my story about our toxic agricultural system, I highly recommend reading Robin Kimmerer's Braiding Sweetgrass, B-R-A-I-D, braid as in braiding hair, Braiding Sweetgrass. It's also available at Bookshop Santa Cruz and just about everywhere. And it's a beautiful introduction to respecting Earth through traditional indigenous teachings of what Kimmerer calls the honorable harvest. And now for a taste of sweet summer fruit in July. Here's Fruit of the Devil. Friday morning, August 26th, Santa Cruz Mountains near Corralitos Creek. I found the arm! Fish and Wildlife Warden Kelly Kavanaugh shouted as she ran uphill, one hand clutching a brown paper bag. At the top of the knoll, she ducked under the crime scene tape and approached a small group of investigators gathered around a body. I found the arm. Kelly reached into the paper bag with a gloved hand, pulled out a human arm and waved it overhead for all to see. Ropes of sinew dangled, but a good deal of flesh still clung to the bone. Medical examiner Dr. Ahern looked up from the body on the ground, still partly covered by redwood duff, sticks, and tan oak leaves. We found the arm down by the creek, said Kelly, mostly buried under forest litter, just like the body here. Detective Charlie Rosa turned toward Kelly, rubbing the furrows between his eyebrows. Who buries body parts of their victim all over the place? Definitely not a human, sir. This has all the signs of a mountain lion kill. Pumas typically cache their food and lightly cover it this way. We found scat and tree scrapes near the arm. Deputy Dawson cleared me to bring this to you, to bag with the rest of the remains. Kelly slid the arm back in the paper bag and handed it to an evidence tech. Detective Rosa leaned down for a closer inspection of the mangled body that deputies were meticulously uncovering, using tweezers to lift each leaf and twig off the gruesome remains. I see why the hikers who found this body were so traumatized. Detective Rosa shook his head. This is not pretty. Dr. Ahern stood, brushing leaf litter off his pants legs. How often do mountain lions eat humans? He asked Kelly. It's rare, sir. In California, cougars have attacked only 11 humans since 1890. Most of these attacks did not result in a kill. Rosa opened a small jar of Vicks and spread a daub in each nostril to manage the stench. So, was this man already dead when the cougar ate him? Most likely, but he probably hadn't been dead for long. Cougars like their meat fresh. We'll know more once we get him back to the lab, said Dr. Ahern. But my preliminary assessment is that his heart had already stopped pumping when the mountain lion found him. Looks like he probably bled out from these stab wounds. Dr. Ahern stepped aside for a tech to take close-up photos of the wounds. Time of death? Asked Detective Rosa. Judging from level of decomposition, said Dr. Ahern, I'd say the remains have been out here for several weeks. Too bad the liver's gone. That will present some forensic challenges. The liver is missing? The furrows between Rosa's bushy eyebrows deepened. Liver, heart, lungs, all gone, said Dr. Ahern. Mountain lions tend to eat the chest area organs of their prey first, said Kelly. They'll chew a hole in the ribs and go straight for the tastiest, most nutritious morsels. Sir, Young, red-headed Deputy Jameson stepped through a tangle of poison oak and blackberry vines to join the group. I found the place where the cougar actually made contact with the deceased. A small clearing near the creek. Plants are crushed down, a lot of blood. No signs of a struggle, though. Lion tracks and drag marks made it pretty easy to follow up there, from there up to here. Good work, Jameson, said the detective. Deputy Jameson beamed with pride. Detective Rosa turned and frowned at the mangled body at their feet. Now, who is this guy? Keep searching the area for a wallet, some form of ID. Where did he come from? Who stabbed him and why? Judging from the condition of his teeth, said Dr. Ahern, I'd say he was a methamphetamine user. I'm guessing some of the blood we found when we investigated that smashed up meth camp last month might match our victims, said Kelly. I'll make sure my technicians cross-check this man's DNA with your meth camp blood samples, said Dr. Ahern. Sheriff Rosa pulled a small notebook out of his chest pocket and flipped pages. I wonder if our victim here is the father of that baby that came from the meth camp, that baby they rescued in the woods. We should be able to determine that at the lab as well. Kelly, said Rosa, you and Deputy Jameson go back to where the cougar first made contact with the deceased. If he was stabbed at the meth camp and fled, there should be a blood trail. See if you can track him from where the cougar found him back to that camp. Deputy Jameson and Warden Kavanaugh bushwhacked downhill. Here it is. This is the place the cougar found our Vic, said Jameson. The flickering dance of alder leaves, shadows, and sunlight over the ferns made Kelly blink. Look at these drag marks, Jameson pointed out, and that dark blood stains on the ground there. Kelly's eyes focused. She nodded. Kneeling, she put her nose close to the earth and sniffed. The smell of blood, death, and decay was faint, but unmistakable. Jameson scooped up some of the bloody soil into an evidence bottle. Look at these tracks, Kelly pointed to a shoe print in the redwood duff. Within an hour, Kelly and Jameson have followed the dead man's tracks back to the meth camp. Kelly scanned the abandoned camp. Sheriff's office had recently released the site to county hazmat for cleanup. This was her last chance to find any evidence that might lead to the missing girls and their mother. She'd been called into the investigation because of her reputation as an ace tracker, but last time she'd been here nearly a month ago, even hours after hours of searching, she hadn't been able to find any tracks from the meth camp to the found baby site. I can't stop thinking about that baby, said Kelly. Me neither, said Jameson. I actually didn't expect him to make it. When I arrived at the Wyckoff Ranch that day, the baby's eyes were sunken. His skin felt tight. Kelly nodded. Dehydration, extreme hypothermia. Luckily, the ambulance and EMTs responded fast and got that baby to the hospital in time. Yeah, said Jameson, and good thing Mr. Wyckoff and his son went searching for their dog. Another day in the forest and that baby would probably have been a goner. What kind of person would abandon a baby in the woods? We know the baby came from this camp, said Jameson. His PJs were the same size and label as clothes he left in the tent. Remember? Right, and whoever abandoned that baby, it wasn't our dead man. After he was stabbed, he ran upstream from camp. Baby was found downstream. Jameson glanced at his watch. I'd better report back to Detective Rosa. You go ahead, said Kelly. I know the trail's a month old, but I want to take one more look at that nest where the dog kept the baby alive. Maybe we missed something. By mid-afternoon, Kelly was down on her hands and knees, examining the remains of the nest under the huckleberry bush. The air seemed to shift around her. Leaves rustled. Something wet and cold slid up her triceps. Kelly jumped, rolled in the duff, and came up in a defensive squat to face her assailant. A happy bark and wagging husky tail made her laugh. Well, hello. You're the Wyckoff's dog, Bella, aren't you? I wish you could tell me who left that baby here. That's it.